good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are in your neck of the woods. My name is Emily Roden, and I'm actually going to start my video here for a moment and welcome everyone. I am on the co-founding or the founding team here at ReadyRosie, and serve now as our CEO of ReadyRosie, and I'm glad to speak with you for a few minutes today on an important topic, which is transformative family engagement that we can see and put into effect this school year. So as a thank you to all of you for attending today, we will be sending you an awesome ReadyRosie I Heart Families t-shirt. I'm sure that you will enjoy sporting this at your school or program this year, but I'm sure that what you're really here for is to talk about our topic today, which is 5 ways to see transformative family engagement this school year. So just so you can see the full screen for today's presentation, I'm going to stop my video so that you can see that full screen. First of all, what we'd like to talk about is transformative family engagement. And the best way to talk about that is to actually look at what it is not. In a recent interview, Dr. Karen Mapp, who I know many of you are familiar with, a lead senior lecturer at Harvard School of Education, talked about family engagement practices that need to be updated and redefined. One of the practices that she mentioned is actually one of the most common, that at our campuses, at our programs, we talk to families specifically. She mentioned about our efforts to encourage families to read to their children, which is a wonderful practice in and of itself. But here's what she said about that being the only strategy by which we're engaging and partnering with families is if that's just by telling families to read with their children. She said, we have to be careful about what we define as reading with our children. Say, for example, a family doesn't speak English, and then we send something home that says read at home, and a parent says, well, I don't speak English, so maybe my participation in my child's reading isn't valuable. Oftentimes, we don't explain to parents, no, that's not true. If your child asks questions about the reading, if you share experiences, your cultural tradition, traditional recipes, all of that counts as reading with your children as a literacy activity. It doesn't just have to be picking up a book and reading with your child. We need to expand what we mean so that more families feel included and feel as though they can participate. That's Dr. Karen Mapp, and that's what we're going to talk about today. The opposite of what we just talked about, what transformative family engagement is not, but what it can be. In addition to discussing these 5 ways, we'll be talking about how ReadyRosie supports Ready educators, Ready families, and Ready kids for a full transformative family engagement experience that can be had at your school or program. We have learned that transformative family engagement means engaging families in meaningful and sustainable ways. This may take time, but it is achievable if given the right tools to facilitate that type of family engagement. So today we're going to be talking about practices that you can apply, whether you use ReadyRosie or not, and best practices that are rooted in research. But we also will talk about how ReadyRosie has facilitated these best practices. As you join today and as we discuss, please feel free to comment, chat, ask questions. We want this to be as interactive as possible. And if for some reason we don't get to your question immediately, we will address all questions in the end of our 30-minute time together. So we talked about what transformative family engagement is not. But imagine that instead of confusion or unclarity around the family role and what that partnership could look like, imagine that you had families that after the school day, in their own home experiences, were having interactions like this.
Hey dude, do you ever wish you had 10 scoops of ice cream?
Mm-hmm.
Like 10, like if you had 10, and if I had 10, I might do 3 chocolate, 3 vanilla, 3 cookies and cream, and 1 butter pecan. Then that'll make 10. So what would you have?
4 chocolate and 6 Oreos.
6 Oreos? Like, I think if we had all 10, we would both have a bellyache. Can you come up with another combination of 10? Maybe use 3 flavors. You ready?
Okay. I would do 3 strawberry, 3 vanilla,
Okay.
and 2 blueberries.
Well, you got 2 more.
And 2 raspberries.
Sweet. Let's go ahead and finish up our ice cream, okay?
So how do we get there? How do we have this type of transformative family engagement that impacts our ready educators and makes ready families and ultimately ends with ready kids, children who are ready to learn and grow in the classroom? We're going to talk about 5 strategies today, the first of which is involve all stakeholders on the campus and cast the vision. This is not just a ReadyRosie idea. In fact, this concept of leadership is deeply rooted in research both conducted outside of ReadyRosie, but also in our most recent research relationship with the University of Pittsburgh Office of Child Development. The researchers at University of Pittsburgh actually looked at the impact of leadership at the campus or program level. They evaluated several things that you can see at this simple correlation table. They looked at the impact of family workshops and some type of workshop experience, leadership support, live professional development for training, and they looked at all of those things as it correlated to ReadyRosie usage. And like I said, there's lots of ways to define and look at transformative family engagement, but usage obviously for ReadyRosie was one of the things that we looked at. And you can see by this correlation table that leadership support actually had the highest impact on the outcomes of family engagement. This leadership was defined as setting clear goals and expectations for staff, showing staff what transformative family engagement looks like, and even casting a vision of how ReadyRosie and how family engagement could be combined with things like homework strategies and other ways that we were communicating and working and partnering with families. So ReadyRosie knows that in order to develop staff, build capacity, that our programs and schools need that additional support. So ReadyRosie has developed really 2 core ways to help support and cast that vision for educators and classroom teachers. The first is called Ready Teacher, and Ready Teacher is a bi-weekly email that all ReadyRosie teachers receive with tips to support and inspire family engagement at your campus. Additionally, ReadyRosie provides in those Ready Teacher videos that can be used, that teachers can watch, that support how the nuts and bolts of working with families around home language, building trust and relationship, partnerships, etc. Educators receive those right there in their inbox. So it's quick, easy, and literally point of use professional development. We've also developed an entire professional development series that we can come out and work with and support staff and educators and family service workers and managers who are working with families all along common goals around family engagement. These workshops range everything from supporting social emotional development through family engagement, as well as growth mindset, supporting families that speak other languages, etc. So that truly we can cast the vision to all of our stakeholders on a campus. Oftentimes we think about family engagement as belonging to one person. Maybe it's a family liaison or a family service manager. But when really thinking about a comprehensive family engagement strategy, we know that all staff have to be involved. All staff have to catch the vision, including stakeholders like caregivers and families on our campus who can help create that vision and who ultimately can help support and implement that family engagement goal and vision. Number 2, provide families with meaningful content. This is really our passion at ReadyRosie. One of our passions is that content. In fact, when we launched ReadyRosie 5 years ago, we launched with the concept of what if we could model what these transformative interactions look like for families and education staff, educator staff, to be able to really see what transformative engagement and interactions could look like. So that's why at ReadyRosie, we've compiled a video library of over 1,200 modeled moment videos that are literally like windows into real families with real children, with real questions, real interactions that look something like this.
Okay, little buddy, while I load the dishwasher, I want you to play a game with me, okay? We're going to play a game where we describe items out of our pantry, okay? So look, I have 4 items here out of the pantry. I have peanut butter, it's brown, it's smooth, and it's in a jar. I have quinoa. It's hard and crunchy right now, but when you cook it, it gets soft. There's like hundreds of little pieces of quinoa in this green box. And then I have some tomatoes. They are in a metal can, and they are red and soft. And there's juice inside that metal can. And then I have some bread. The bread comes in slices, and it's soft, and it's yummy to eat, and it's white. Okay? So listen, we're gonna play a game. I'm going to describe an object to you, and you need to guess what it is. So you're gonna close your eyes. I'm going to describe it, and you guess. Are you ready? Okay. Close your eyes. Okay. There are hundreds of little pieces of this in a green box. They are crunchy, but after I cook them, they are soft. What am I describing?
Quinoa.
That's right, quinoa. Okay, you want to do it? Okay, I'm gonna close my eyes, and you describe one of these objects to me. Okay?
Okay. It's smooth and in the pantry. It's soft and it's smooth.
Okay, it's soft and smooth and out of the pantry. Is that peanut butter? Yes. You want to do another one?
And it's soft in the box. Well, I cooked it in the box. What do you think it is?
Oh, I think it's quinoa.
What? What? Sweet potato. It's potato. It's soft and what I cooked. And it was in the can.
Oh, it's soft and in a can? Are those tomatoes? Okay, great job, Jaden. You did a good job describing things.
What? It's
Hold on,
soft.
when you were younger, you described things by their size and color, but today you use words like metal can and in a jar and smooth. Great job.
I missed it.
All done.
I know.
In today's presentation was a first grade example. This is obviously with a pre-K age child, and we'll watch one in just a minute in Spanish. ReadyRosie provides subtitles in multiple languages as well as actual video content with native Spanish-speaking families and many videos with native Arabic families speaking Arabic.
Esteban, ¿ya viste qué papitas tan deliciosas tenemos aquí? ¿Te gustan las papitas fritas? Oye, ¿qué tal si me ayudas a contarlas?
Sí.
Ok, vamos a contarlas. ¿Listo?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10 papitas. Ahora vamos a jugar un juego. Yo voy a cerrar los ojos y tú te vas a comer unas papitas mientras yo tengo cerrados los ojos y yo voy a adivinar cuántas te comiste. ¿Listo? Ok. ¿Ya los abro?
Now those examples were obviously language building, literacy building, numeracy building, but ReadyRosie has, like I said, over 1,200 of these content modeled moment videos that support math, literacy, social emotional learning, health and well-being, even STEM and creativity building interactions that families can have with their young children. But what if families ask, additional questions. How do I get my child to listen to me? Or we're struggling with discipline issues. What are positive discipline strategies, etc. And for those families, we also have content around with our.
To help your child more likely listen to you, you need to actually walk over to your child. You need to make eye contact before you give them a command. Often we like to holler from the kitchen, "Alyssa, come to dinner." You actually physically need to walk over, tap them on the shoulder. When they look at you, you say, "It's time for dinner." And then if they kind of balk a little, you can give them a choice. You can walk to dinner and sit in that chair right there, or you can walk with me and sit in the chair on the other side of the table. Which one's best for you? To help your child listen to you, you need to have an assertive voice. Now, an assertive voice says, "I mean what I say what I mean." So you can help yourself learn this by going, "My jacket is blue, my top is black. It's time to get in the car." That's an assertive voice. Sometimes we say, "It's time to get in the car, okay?" So we tell them, use an assertive tone. We don't go, "It's time to get in the car." We use an assertive voice, which is the voice of knowing. We also tell them what to do as opposed to what not to do. And the last thing we want to do is walk over to them, get their attention before we give them a command, and realize young children process information 12 times slower than adults. So be patient, be clear, and you got this.
Those research and answer videos like the one you just saw from Becky Bailey feature content and support families with content around discipline, media use, family health, school partnerships, responsive parenting, and of course, social emotional development and growth mindset language. All of that content that we saw, the modeled moment videos, as well as the research and answer videos, can be shared with families in a way that's accessible and ubiquitous for young families today, right on their mobile device via email, text, or they can receive it by downloading the mobile app. What's exciting is that the content that they receive can come directly from us in a default sequence, or even more impactfully can come from educators, home visitors, classroom teachers that have those trusted relationships with families. So when they get that content, it can be directly related to what's happening in the classroom environment. And that's done through our Share platform, where teachers, in a matter of 5 minutes or less, can create customized message and customized content. In every partnership, both parties want to be clear on their role, how they can help support the goals of this partnership, how they can support their child. So our content is aligned with the goals, the academic goals and learning goals of schools and programs, and it is clear and accessible. Additionally, many times we don't think of connections and social interactions as content, but workshops and events can serve as a deep way for families to learn from each other, from peers, and to build social capital and capacity and networking connections. This content can be shared, like I said, through videos and digital content, but ReadyRosie also provides meaningful workshop experiences for families to come together, collaborate, talk, have those peer interactions. And facilitators have a very, very easy way to facilitate these workshops through our literally plug and play facilitator guides and PowerPoint presentations that provide that facilitator, even a parent facilitator, to quickly and easily facilitate and do the interaction in the family workshop. Now, those are full-length family workshops that we just discussed. But this year, ReadyRosie is also launching a new series of workshops called the Give Me 10 Family Workshops. These workshops are designed to literally be 10 minutes or less, and can take place anytime when you find that you have opportunities with families. Maybe it's at a meet the teacher night. Maybe it's at a very quick family event. You want to take a few minutes and have 10 minutes to communicate important content to families. These Give Me 10s, we call them the top 10 Give Me 10s, are some of the top topics that families have expressed interest in, but also educators have communicated that they really want families to understand more for these successful partnerships. Things like screen time, digital literacy, positive discipline strategies, summer learning, health, well-being, etc. These Give Me 10s also are quick and easy for the facilitator because they follow the exact same structure. An opportunity for families to introduce themselves, introduce the topic, maybe it's routines, then play a related ReadyRosie video. Families get to turn and have that interaction right then and there with their child and experience how fun and bonding that experience is, and then reflect and discuss as the formula for all of these structured Give Me 10s. And once again, we support you with those PowerPoint and easy to follow facilitator guides as well. So providing meaningful content for families is not just digital content that they can search and experience anytime, anywhere, but also those collaborative experiences that can be anywhere from 10 minutes of meaningful communication and content with families all the way to in-depth, full-length family workshop experiences that you can provide for families. But when combined, those two approaches provide a comprehensive way to share meaningful content and build networking and capital with families. So provide that meaningful content, but number 3, also open up those lines of communication. Communication is the key to any relationship, any partnership. In fact, communication is the relationship. So this year, spend time thinking through the opportunities for meaningful communication between educators and families, where families can express their ideas and their concerns, and educators can do the same. For example, ReadyRosie provides a platform upon which to communicate. Those live interactions are precious, but we know oftentimes families are mobile and are not in the building on a daily basis. For that reason, we created ReadyRosie Share, where families can actually share feedback and concepts with and anecdotal responses with their classroom teacher. And the teachers can then, of course, communicate back. And that's all done around content. So as we share those modeled moment videos or those research and answer videos, families and teachers can communicate back and forth about what that means. Additionally, when given the opportunity for live communication, like you'll see every school year with parent-teacher conferences, ReadyRosie has provided in-depth parent-teacher family conference support and materials. In fact, this week, Ed Week, if any of you follow Education Week, released an article about the 10 bold ideas that principals can embrace this school year. And guess what number 1 was? They advise principals to give parent-teacher conferences a makeover. And that's what we've done. What's typically a check-off-the-box activity that teachers do in the beginning of the first semester of the school year, we've rethought that and provided support around thoughtful checklists, customizable invitations that make that a meaningful and welcoming experience for families, handouts to provide families, customized thank you notes, and even PD opportunities to support teachers and build capacity in teachers for making these a launch to a meaningful partnership that will last throughout the whole year. So make content, make that communication meaningful, open those lines of communication. Number 4, measure and celebrate the impact along the way. As we think about our family engagement efforts, we should not have to cross our fingers and just hope that we're having some type of impact or change. With limited time and resources, we should be looking at metrics that actually show the impact of what our efforts are producing. And help us tell the story about the results of our plans and actions. That's why at ReadyRosie, we have built a 24/7 data dashboard that any teacher, any workshop facilitator, any professional on the campus, as well as administrator can look at data like how many families are interacting with the content, how are teachers sharing those videos and playlists directly with families, what are families searching for, what are their favorites, etc. And this typically has been our data dashboard to communicate with our schools and programs how their families are interacting with ReadyRosie. This year, because of some new tagging that we've been able to do with our videos, where for each video, as I'm sure you can imagine by watching the 3 that we've watched today, each video actually correlates to multiple skills and outcomes that are being communicated with families. It might be health and well-being, as well as math and reasoning, perception, initiative and curiosity. So rather than just telling or sharing with our administrators and providers that their families have watched certain videos, this year, we are launching a new data dashboard screen that allows our programs to track the content with which families have had exposure. So based on 2 key components: learning outcomes that feature everything from language and literacy, health and well-being, social emotional skills, but also family outcomes. And if those family outcome categories look familiar to you, it's because that we base this off of the birth through 3rd grade parent, family, community engagement framework. I know this framework has been adopted by Head Start programs and is being used to track outcomes around family engagement efforts with Head Start as well. So for every single child, you're able to get a snapshot of what that child and what that child's family is building in the outcomes that they're creating because of their exposure to ReadyRosie. And finally, number 5, make a strategic plan now for the entire year. Oftentimes, we think about family engagement as something that will roll out gradually and that will plan as we go. And while there is definitely a value to flexibility and responsiveness, we know that a strategic plan can guide our family engagement efforts for the entire year. As you're thinking about your plan, include all of these touch points that you naturally have with families, and all the ways that we can make the most out of every moment that families are on our campus or that families are at home and have accessibility to content. Of course, we advise that programs look at those school readiness goals and their campus improvement plans and let those goals guide that strategic plan. We were just talking with a school yesterday that really focused around increasing reading levels, and they use Lexile levels as their measure. And so their family engagement efforts directly corresponded to that. They looked at how they could help families understand supporting literacy on grade level, how they could understand what levels meant, and how they could support both through shared reading and through independent reading that specific targeted goal of the school. And so as you're thinking about your strategic plan for the whole year, think about these tools and resources that ReadyRosie provides. Or if you don't use ReadyRosie, think about all of those touch points and actually chart those out. Share those with teachers so that they're aware of the comprehensive plan around family engagement for this school year. This particular one is a ReadyRosie partner school Head Start program in Tennessee. And you can see that throughout the year, they're not necessarily using every single one of the ReadyRosie resources, but use ReadyRosie more as a buffet line for which they can pull and develop and place things that make sense based on their data, their culture and community of families, and the goals, the learning goals of the school. We're excited to announce that you can find all resources that you need to support families in a comprehensive and systematic way on ReadyRosie under our resources tab. So not only do we have that library of content to share with families, but we have additional resources, including awareness and communication tools, how to get started, PD and training for the teachers, all for your staff and teachers, all under ReadyRosie resources. So that's a lot. Just to review, 5 ways to see transformative family engagement this school year. Number 1, involve all stakeholders and cast the vision. Number 2, provide families with meaningful, rich content. Number 3, open up those lines of communication between educators and families. Number 4, measure and celebrate the impact along the way. And number 5, make it that strategic plan now for the entire year. Now, in conclusion, I wanted to open up a time. We've gotten several questions that I wanted to address. Just to address some of the questions here, and I'll go ahead and start back the video so that I can address those questions. And you can continue to shout those out either through the chat or the Q&A. Some programs have asked who is using ReadyRosie out there. ReadyRosie is actually working with about 640 school districts or Head Start programs combined in about 44 states across the United States. And so if you let us know where you're at and reply to probably the email or the newsletter that you heard about this webinar, we can share with you data right from your regional area and probably your state as well about how it's being used, how it's being implemented, so you can know that that's regionally applicable. Another question that we received was, how do teachers start the process of using ReadyRosie with parents? The process is simple. As you partner with ReadyRosie and get started, the very first thing we do is sit down and develop an action plan. Just like the one you saw with the calendar, we help support and help you understand, and your teaching staff understand all of the resources that are available and help develop a plan of how that will roll out. The next thing, step 2, is that teachers can either register their families through our share platform, or we have a bulk upload system by which families can be uploaded into our system. And all they have to do is accept the invitation via text message or on their phone, and boom, they're in the system. And teachers can start sharing that great content, and families can begin searching that content on their own, so they have that support immediately. Looking through the other questions, how is ReadyRosie funded? Is there a cost? All of these resources that we talked about today, from family workshops, Give Me Tens, parent-teacher conference guides, etc., are all part of the comprehensive package that is ReadyRosie. So there's not individual costs for those items. The cost for implementing ReadyRosie can either be a classroom-based cost or an entire campus-based cost, because we do provide content, like I said, birth through 3rd grade. So many elementary schools fund ReadyRosie for the whole campus, which is sometimes more affordable than the classroom-based cost. The great thing is that the more classrooms or campuses you want to provide for, the lower the cost goes. So we can get you a customized cost proposal as well. Many of our schools and programs fund ReadyRosie through Title I funds, Title III funds, because it is a completely bilingual program that supports English language instruction as well, and English language learners as well. Looking through all these questions, another question we got is, do we share school or family data with third parties? Our primary responsibility is always to our partner, our direct partner, and if that partner chooses to share some of this data community-wide, we are in full support of that. We work with many programs that support community-wide data efforts around school readiness and kindergarten readiness goals, so that data can impact that as well. We got another question of, is there a baseline cost for the per classroom? That can vary quite a bit. An average cost is around $250 per classroom. That can go down slightly for larger programs and up slightly for smaller programs. It's based on total number of classrooms, but that can give you a baseline. And are there plans to add grade levels above 3rd grade? There are. We are excited to be adding 4th and 5th. And if any of you out there can additionally help provide ideas and content for middle school, we're excited to someday go K-12. So we're excited to constantly be supporting families throughout their child's entire educational career. These are excellent questions, and I appreciate the interaction with the audience today. We're going to continue to field questions, even though we're a few minutes over time. Any additional questions? Oh, I think I've gotten a couple more here. Does ReadyRosie require Wi-Fi, and how are families, how are programs overcoming this barrier? Yes, to access the content, modeled moment videos, ReadyRosie does require Wi-Fi. One thing that our programs are doing to support families is providing Wi-Fi, of course, at all campuses. So during pickups, drop-offs, families can have a moment to access their playlists and their modeled moment videos. But also through partnerships with the public libraries. We even have many of our schools and programs who provide families with lists of all the places that they can access that free Wi-Fi. McDonald's, Walmart, etc., all the places where families often find themselves. And by the way, a great opportunity to watch a ReadyRosie video on grocery shopping, or on how to activities while waiting on your food or during dinner time, etc. So it's a great opportunity for families to access that free Wi-Fi while they're out and about as well. Happy to talk more about that. We're actually exploring ways for families to be able to utilize the app while offline as well. So that's coming soon. And so thank you for all of your questions and your interaction. Like I said, I'll be on for a few more minutes, and so I'm happy to answer additional questions. If there's anything that you want to know as well that you didn't have time to ask, what we really love to do is to have the opportunity to talk with you, learn more about your families, your teachers, your academic and goals, and campus improvement, school readiness goals at your school or program. So I would invite you to please take the opportunity to communicate with myself or one of our staff here at ReadyRosie, who can talk specifically about how ReadyRosie can support your specific families and your specific goals. So thank you for your time today. Thank you again for your interaction and responsiveness. This webinar will be recorded and we'll share with all participants. So feel free to share this with your colleagues and staff as well. And once again, thank you, and we hope you enjoy your shirt that says I Heart Families. That is the heart of what we do at ReadyRosie. We believe that family engagement can transform schools and programs and the work that they do to support children. So we hope this year, this is the year that your children can reach new heights and see whole new outcomes and impact, because the adults in their lives are partnering together. Thank you for the work that you do, and have a wonderful day.